Hello everyone, welcome to Kalpa Kendra Tarot. Today we would be continuing with our Future Spouse series, and the topic that we would be covering today is going to be what your future spouse will say to their friends about you, or how your future spouse will describe you to their friends. I'm basically wanting information on your future spouse's opinion about you, which they would want to share with their friends, maybe generally over a long period of time, like what they feel about you, and how they basically talk about you with their friends. It may be or may not be the first introduction that they are giving of you to their friends. It may just be a general overview of how they describe you to their friends and how they talk about you, or it might just be the first time ever that they choose to describe you to their friends. So we would have to see what comes up. I have not set an intention on which conversation I exactly want to pick up. I want to pick up a general overview of your future spouse's description of you to their friends, and it could be something where they or spirit wants to give me a general overview of their conversation, which would then let you know what your future spouse's view of you is going to be when it comes to their friends. Because you see, when you speak to your loved ones, somebody who you trust, like implicitly, you're like more secretive or more vulnerable side will come up. So things that your future spouse might not feel comfortable, I hope they feel comfortable in sharing everything with you, but there can be things that they are not comfortable in sharing with you, or they fear being misunderstood or judged, or just not knowing how you would respond. So we have seen friends, we know how certain conversations are better had with friends than with lovers. So there could be stuff that comes up which may be enlightening for you, in case you are somebody who's watching it for your husband who you are already married to, and would want to know how, or husband or wife, and you want to know how your spouse describes you to their friends. In that case, there might be stuff that you would be surprised to know, happy to know, God knows, agitated to know, I don't know. So let's see what comes up. I have not specified anything, but like in terms of setting an intention, but I'm really interested to see what comes up. So there are three options for the topic today. I took such a long time to describe the topic. I hope the reading delivers. The three options are lion for group 1, monkey for group 2, and then giraffe for group 3. You can close your eyes, think about the question, and just open your eyes to see which of the cards attracts you the most. And based on that, you can meet me at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group 1. If you had selected this lion card, then welcome to your reading. Group 1. So let's first read the card. It says, honor your soul and celebrate its journey. And then the next card that you have got is emerge. Eastern tiger, swallowtail, what am I opening into? Third card is card number 14, heavy heart, take time to nurture your emotional wounds. And the fourth and the last card is card number 30, thank your lucky stars as you begin to count your blessings. More and more blessings will, I hope it's focused, more and more blessings will come. So these are your cards, group 1. Coming to how your future spouse would describe you to their friends, the energy that I'm picking up is that your future spouse would say that you have been through a lot, where you survived because you are one of those lucky people who had the mercurial ability, the intelligence to turn a difficult situation around into something fruitful or beneficial. They are admitting it to their friends that everything that you have been through, had it been anybody else or a more sensitive soul, they would probably not be able to handle the situations that you have handled so beautifully. Your future spouse is basically giving you a lot of credit for turning things around in your life. They are saying that you have a very strong personality, because when you're choosing the card lion, I don't know what you had at the back of your mind while choosing it, but mostly what happens is that the card you choose or the crystal that you get drawn to, or anything that you choose, anything that you basically get drawn to in order to select your pile, also says a little bit about the energy that is coming through. It is not always that that energy would go on to mean something substantial in the reading. For example, I'll tell you what, if say you're choosing the card lion, it might the reading might pan out to mean something that, where although they tell your it might mean that they your future spouse is telling their friends. I'm not saying that that is the case, but I'm saying that sometimes it can be so that the card you have chosen is lion, but the reading comes out like this, where it is showing that although your future spouse feels that people might think that you are the lion, but you're actually not. Your energy is totally different. And so selecting the card is gives certain crucial information about the pile, but it may not always be extremely aligned with the first card that you're choosing to select a group. In your case, somehow the energy of your reading is totally aligned with the energy of lion, but the information that is coming out regarding you being the lion is that you were born this way. Like you had a very strong personality to begin with, which is why you have handled some very very difficult situations, which I don't think anybody in your place would have been able to excel in, had it not been for your intelligence, your intellect. Things could have really taken like a downturn for you, because when I'm looking at heavy heart, I can feel that I don't know what you've dealt with in your childhood. It could be that your family was not very supportive, or the kind of intelligence you had, the talents that you had were not appreciated. You were born into a family who maybe appreciated a different sort of skill. Maybe you had a family who believed in academic prowess and everything, and you were an artist who loved painting, so your skill was not appreciated, right? Like something like this, where you maybe are incredible at humanities, all the social sciences, but your family could have been could have been a firm believer of intelligence being reflected in like in scientific mind, or the intelligence. The only proof of intelligence that they believe is that how good somebody is at maths or science. So maybe your intelligence was a little different from what your family believed in, and it was difficult for you to survive. On top of that, there were like probably financial issues. Maybe you were never appreciated, or you were never given the opportunity for a lot of things which you had the ability to excel at, which is why your future spouse is saying that it is one group one is lucky, they're saying, because they are also recognizing the fact that God had something to do with it, like luck had something to do with it, because the situation, or the conditions under which you were born. One second. So the conditions under which you were born were definitely not favorable. Favorable, at least, to make you reach um, a level of excellence that you're capable of. So it was not doing justice to your potential, or it was not nurturing enough where your potential could be nurtured. But your future spouse is saying that somehow it was your destiny. Thank your lucky star. So it was your destiny to reach the place that you have, which is why people could understand that you are the lion that you are. Because it could very well be so that the lion would grow up with a herd of sheeps, and they would go on, like the lion would go on to think that it's one of them. But you have been lucky enough to understand that you are the lion, and also got respect for the kind of personality that you have and the talents that you hold, pretty much because you received divine guidance, divine help. In what form, I don't know, but your future spouse is saying that there were certain incidents in your life where you were helped, you were literally guided by God. And these stars, and I'll tell you what this sound is of. The sound is of, we people who are not watching me from India would not understand. This is the sound of my mother worshipping, like doing puja. So, and I was just going to talk about the stars and sparkles in this card, which actually is reminding me, or trying to talk to me about miracles that happened in your life, which were, maybe you had one or two really big miracles happen in your life. Oh, by the way, miracles do happen. If people are like, miracles, yeah, they happen, yeah, they do. And your future spouse kind of knows that some of them happened in your life. So your future spouse is saying there were certain cases where you were saved by God, or like, I'm getting a situation where maybe you had to appear for an exam, and you were getting late, and you did not even have the money to take like a private ride to the examination center. You had to wait for public transport, and somehow you were getting very late, but you did not have the money to afford private transport, right? Or like a private facility to the examination center. So what happened is that you had to wait for a long time, but somehow bus or some sort of public transport came through, and you reached the examination center late. So you were already running like behind time, and you did not get the equal opportunity to write your answers, because obviously you were late. But somehow you wrote so well that you got selected, and somehow you got through, you know, made to that institution, and then you ended up topping that institution, or topping whichever course that you were taking. So things like that happened in your life where you were saved, you're saved by a margin, but that margin went on to deliver a lot of miracles to you. I want to talk more about the card lion, but it feels like I'm not talking like about the butterfly at all. What it seems like is that you have had a very difficult, like I said, that a very difficult beginning, and a lot of things that happened to you could have hardened your heart to the point that you could have held a grudge against the world, where you are like, you could have been one of those angry, you could have turned out to be one of those angry people who don't want anything good for the world because they've been through so much. You could have had narcissistic, you could have developed narcissistic tendencies, is what your future spouse is saying. Maybe they don't know the term narcissistic, but they're saying that you could have been one of those mean ones because so many mean things happened to you. But you actually took the time to nurture your emotional wounds, and you actually teach people now to address their trauma. That is what they're saying, take time to nurture your emotional wounds. So it feels like this, you are somewhat of a guide who actually helps people address their emotional issues which may have developed in the childhood, because you have worked through it. And that's what this card is talking about. What am I opening in to emerge? Since you emerged from absolutely nothing, or maybe if people looked at you at that time, they would have thought that this girl or this boy or this child has no potential. But you emerged into something so powerful, like a lion. So that's what they're saying, that now you're almost like a guide. And your future spouse is saying something like, because the energy of lion is coming in combination with butterfly, which are two very very different kinds of beings. Your future spouse is saying that your advice, or if people talk to you, whatever you would have to say is beneficial for, like, you have a way of being a guide to all kinds of people. Like, if somebody is too sensitive, you would use your sensitivity in guiding them in a different way. If somebody is very rough and tough, then you know how to be very strong in your words and in your attitude, and how to develop, how to bring out that strength in you to address the problems that may be uh, posed by certain strong characters. Like, somebody might come to you and say that, every time somebody criticizes me, I end up crying and I cannot articulate my response well. So your response to that person would be different. And somebody comes to you and says that I have built an empire of a certain amount of rupees, like certain crore or something, like certain dollar, certain amount. And now the problem that I'm facing in my company is that people are becoming entitled, and I don't know how to be how to be straightforward, and how to keep my point across to people who helped me build the company in the first place. So they were hardworking at one point of time, but now they are just simply being entitled, now that they're seeing that the company is making a lot of money. What should I do? And you would have a solid advice for that person as well. So you are somebody who is able to address like address variety of a problem in a crowd. And your future spouse really thinks highly of you because of that, because they're saying that you, in emerging to be the person that you are, you have dealt with so many problems, and it is pretty much the king of the jungle, king of the jungle sort of energy, where since he's the king, people go to him. It's like, it's basically the lion king, so people go to him for their problems. Like, we go to our king, in olden days we used to go to our kings for our like for solutions to our different problems. So it's like that. Even though the king is one entity, the king needs to have a fair amount of idea about everybody's situation, even though they are guided by ministers. And even now you have bureaucracy aiding the head of the government. But even then they need to have a, like, like a smart head on their shoulders in order to be able to give a decision, right? And you have that, and you have that energy where people actually go to you for advice. That is also something your future spouse is saying, which actually reflects the kind of respect your future spouse has for you, group one. So let's see how group one's future spouse would describe them to their friends. King of Wands. Some of you, I know that you all already understand tarot, so you'd be able to understand the energy that we are dealing with, and the cards are also confirming that. Four of Wands. I'll not say anything before I have, like, shuffled all the cards. 10 of Wands. Okay. Right. Okay, Page of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. And then I can already feel the energy, the cards confirming the energy. And then we have the Emperor. We don't need any more cards. And back of the deck energy is Two of Swords. I've never felt this about Two of Swords, which I am feeling about your which I'm feeling in your reading, and I'll go on to explain what I'm feeling. So first of all, they say that you have this energy where when you walk into a room, there's this strange thing about this King of Wands card at least, where the dress that she's wearing is very striking. It's almost as if it will draw your attention. Like, there's nothing that you can see in this card as vividly as her dress or her attire. Not even her, like, very little of her body is showing. It's mostly the dress that is visible in the card. So it's like your appearance, where I think you dress to make a power statement, like you power dress. You when you walk into a room, people immediately take notice of you, not because of how not because of wet or like not because of the dress that you're wearing, because it's not like it's too revealing or something like that. But what the dress that you're wearing is almost always very powerful. Like, it has an impact where people understand that you mean business. You are intimidating in some sense, where people always think that your future spouse, in describing you, has this picture in their head. This is not what they're saying, but your future spouse is definitely telling their friends that they had no idea that they can be so drawn to somebody's dressing sense, or somebody's dressing sense can be so magnetic and so powerful, because your future spouse is gonna love the way you dress. And it feels like the way you dress is sort of, you take tradition and conventions into account. It's not like you have made a decision to dress conservatively. It's not like you're conservative. You can wear something which is not very conservative and still come across as very powerful. You don't seem to be following trends. In the sense, you can look at the dress and understand that it's not like um you cannot think of this dress to be trendy at any given point in time. It's not trend. It's like it's her own way of expressing herself, whatever she's wearing, and that's very striking. So it could be so that the entire like an entire region or an entire country or even the world at any given point in time is following a trend, and something is here, something is, like, I was going to say something is in, and I said it like something is yin, like yin. So say something is very trendy and everybody is doing it, and it's like that print is something that everybody is wearing, or a certain jeans or whatever. You would just steer clear out of it. You might not even look at that trend, might not even like have a single dress that follows that trend. You would do something maybe which people used to do 10 years back or 15 years back, but even then you come across as somebody um, who means business and who does not care about whether she is updated with the current, or whether she or he is updated with the current trend. But it's just that you are timeless, your style is timeless. Whatever you wear, people want to, oh my god, whatever you wear people want to copy you. So please understand the situation, that it could be so that you meet your, like, you might think yourself to be a simpleton, right? So you're just a simple person who, say you go and meet your future spouse's friends, and then you might see that their partners, like the partners of your future spouse's friends, they might go on to ask you, where did you buy this from, where did you get that from, and they might copy certain things that you do, because it feels like your future spouse is openly appreciating you, and people can also understand that the impact that you make with your style, with your dressing sense, is huge. You're not like, it doesn't speak like your dressing sense does not scream, but there's a quiet power which has a very loud impact. You understand, like a quiet power that has a loud impact, very lionish sort of energy again. Four of Wands, your future spouse is saying that, um, in fact, this is a card where I feel like your future spouse is saying very little. In fact, your future spouse has become one of those people after finding you or after getting married to you, where they are hardly making any appearance in the public. Because as you can see, Four of Wands, this card is, has a very natural setting where two people are dancing on top of a house in a forest. So it feels like you guys are in your own world, and you are hiding from the entire world. Or people usually can't seem to be able to make an appointment with you, or like get a meeting with you, because you're just not there. You are in your own world. And it's like, even when you even when your future spouse is meeting his or her friends, and their friends are telling them that, where are you these days, like we don't get to see you, we don't get to meet you, they would just be smiling. And your future spouse's friends will understand that they have found a solid companionship, where they feel so comfortable, they feel so stable and grounded in their space, that they don't feel like making a huge hue and cry, or a huge display of how happy they are. It's just they are in their own world, and there's no social media pictures of how they are enjoying their married life, or how they are spending their time with you. There's no like, you guys are not leaving any proof, or any, say, you guys are not even giving anything to the world to be jealous of. You're just not there. This is the Four of Wands energy that I'm getting, because you can see that you can see the shadows of these two people, but you cannot see these two people. You understand, like, you cannot reach these people. You understand that they're there and they're having a great time, but you cannot see them properly. You cannot get any information about them, because they live deep in the woods. So it's like, you guys are becoming unreachable, and their friends are making fun of this, saying that, what happened to you, why did you become unavailable suddenly? And I just saw 27 as I was looking at the camera. So basically, so what happened to you? And your future spouse is just going to be like blushing, and because I feel like giggling at, I don't know. It's I don't know, why am I blushing? I mean, it's your future spouse, it's your marriage. I have no place here to be feeling this way, but I think I'm channeling your future spouse. So your future spouse is like having that, showing that energy of very solid, happy energy, where they don't feel the need to let the world know how happy they are. And your friend, like their friends, can totally understand that this guy, or this girl has found their person, has found their happiness. One thing that comes to my mind is that there's a description of Shiva explaining the ways of enlightenment to different ganas, and then Saptarishis, and Parvati was also there. And there's like, I'll not go into the story much, but I'll just tell you that there was one thing that Parvati does, where people who were there, like Saptarishis and Ganas, and the other, like, there were many sects there who were getting like, to whom Shiva was imparting wisdom about enlightenment, because everything that we know in Hinduism, it is believed that it came out of Shiva. And Shiva is the one who gave us all these, what are the things, yoga principles and everything. Like, he's the first yogi. So there was a point where Parvati does something where she experiences enlightenment, and at that moment she is sitting in front of everybody, and Saptarishis and the other ganas, and looking at Parvati, realizes that Parvati has reached a state which is of a very high level, which is enlightenment, moksha. And then it's like, then they ask Shiva that how to reach that state, and then Shiva, the conversation goes on. But what I want to explain here, or the thing that I want to take from the story, is that Parvati reaches enlightenment in front of everybody just when she comes and sits beside, or sorry, comes and sits on the lap of Shiva. So she comes and sits on Shiva's lap, and she experiences union with Shiva. She comes into that Ardhanarishwar form, and she reaches that enlightenment, which often is then attributed to twin flame relationships or twin flame unions. So looking at that sort of a state, others are asking, how can I reach that state? That is the energy that I'm getting with Four of Wands, where your friends looking at how happy your future spouse is asking that how can I, like, how can we experience the kind of love and the kind of bliss and the kind of happiness that you're experiencing, because it feels like you guys are experiencing some very strong like what do I say, some very strong sensations associated with high forms of love. It is not one of those forms of love where you get married to somebody, or you come together with somebody because you want to impress the world, or because of whatever rules, and you know, because you follow conditions and conventions, not because of that. It's like very organic, and so your friends are asking you that, dude, how, like, how can we ever experience something like this? So because this Four of Wands also, and I did not think the Parvati imagination would come through, I'm thinking that this could be a twin flame connection as well. Then you have Ten of Wands, where your future spouse is saying that the kind of responsibility that you can take, the amount of responsibility that you can take, you are actually a very responsible, grounded person, where you care about your share of effort, or your share of labor that should go into something. That your future spouse is saying that if something needs to be done around the house, then you always do it without saying like without making it known that you're doing it. And this is where I think you are going to have a very equal sort of partnership in your marriage, where we often complain about marriages being more difficult for women because the burden of maintaining up maintaining an orderly and disciplined household is usually something that the woman has to deal with. And people are being more vocal about this, that the share of burden on the woman when it comes to marriage or life after marriage is unfair. But your future spouse, does not matter whether it's man or woman, your future spouse is saying that, recognizing the fact that you do a lot of things out of love, which they do not um, which they do not appreciate, in the sense that they say that I don't want my partner to be doing so much for me. They are not my mother, they are not my father, they are not my, like, you should not be like, don't try to nanny me. So it's something like that where your future spouse is saying that, don't, like, they wish that you would not do as much as you're doing in the marriage, where you do a lot quietly. And your future spouse is saying that if I'm not careful, then all the household chores that need to be done might all be done by group number one. If I'm not careful, like, say there's laundry to be done, or the house needs to be cleaned. So if group one gets to the chore before me, group one will do everything silently and quietly, and I would not even get to know about it. And at the end, when I come home and I see that anything that had to be done has been done already, I feel very bad. So I always need to be on guard, and I always need to see what is it around the house that I need to do, so that everything does not fall on group one's shoulder. And that's why I'm saying that they are not appreciating the fact that you get to any work before them and you finish it, because they understand that that's your nature, that's your love language, and they don't appreciate it. They're saying that group one does back breaking work outside. They're excellent because they're carrying flowers. It's like you have to put a lot of effort, and you carry the burden of the recognition. Like, people obviously say that you're good at something that you do, Okay, like this is something that we've seen, that you have some talent, some skill, which your future spouse is also recognizing and appreciating. And they're saying that people already recognize that there is some skill in group one that they're very good at, and that burden falls on you to deliver more of your skill to the world so that the world can benefit from it. So people recognize that you are carrying the burden of a lot of beauty on your shoulders already, and then your future spouse is saying they have to do all of that. They do all of this, they are all this beautiful burden that they have to carry, which they have to carry, because if there's a certain kind of painting or certain kind of writing only you can do, then in the world will wait for you to create your art, because nobody else can deliver this. Like, this is not repetitive monotonous job that can be done by just anybody. It's like it takes a special person to do certain things, and you have that special skill, and you are that special person. And on top of that, you also try to make your future spouse's life perfect, and you don't complain, and you keep doing things because you do all this. Your future spouse is saying you do all this because you think you don't want it to be like a trouble for your future spouse. And your future spouse is saying that this is what you guys fight about. This is what you guys fight about, where your future spouse is saying that I cannot, like, I try to always tell her or him that if she continues or he continues to do this, then our children are going to learn that the burden of household is should fall on one person's shoulder, and that should not be the case. And if future spouse is complaining about this, about how hard you work, and you say this, you feel the same things, your future spouse actually thinks that after working so hard outside, you should not come home and be able to work. You should not work so hard at like at home as well. And you are saying the same thing about your future spouse. Your future spouse recognizes that you don't, like, it's like you guys are fighting for laundry, my friend. Like, this is beautiful, because I understand that you both are coming from a place of love, where you understand that there's too much, there's oh god, is there a thing called too much equality? I don't know. It's like you were saying that your future spouse already does so much for you, you cannot ask them to do more, and your future spouse is saying the same thing, that you already do so much. It's like, I hope this is the long term energy in this connection, because it's beautiful. Group one, Page of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles. So your future spouse is saying, one, because you are extremely well achieved, and you're seen as somebody who who is intelligent, intellectual, who has a good head on their shoulders, right? So your it feels like your future spouse is saying that anybody can feel intimidated in coming and talking to you, but your future spouse is saying that it's important that somebody comes and talks to group one once, in order to realize what sort of a person group one is, because they are the most down to earth and most genuine and the most encouraging person that your future spouse knows. Because your future spouse is saying that whether you are somebody who has very vague idea about what you want to do in life, you can benefit from talking to group one. And whether you have a very solid, like, whether you are well established in your career, you can still have like, you can still converse or find a very, like, strike a very interesting conversation with group one, because you just have this idea about, like, you have this energy where what it means to get started from scratch, and you also know what it means to be established in your power, because you've made this journey from Page of Pentacles to Queen of Pentacles. So there was a time when you had nothing. You can appreciate the moments of struggle as well. Like, you don't look upon something, no, look down upon something, where somebody is struggling with, say, money or studies or something. You don't rush to that person to want to change their life or to control their life in a way where you think that they would start doing better only if they did things differently. You let people, like, you're so patient, where you let people struggle as well, because you believe that everybody would figure their way out. And so that's the energy there, where they feel that if there's like, if they introduce you to somebody, if your future spouse introduces you to somebody who says going through a very difficult period in their life, you would have the intelligence to handle them properly, like handle them with care, and you would also have the intelligence to handle, say, somebody who's probably having a very like going through a very abundant phase in their life. And both these people will understand that they can feel comfortable around you, where there is absolutely no judgment about the situation in their life. So because you've been through so much, where your energy is just, you've traveled from, you are the page and you are the queen of pentacles. If somebody comes and tells you that they are like, say you are an established author and somebody comes and tells you that they are just starting to express themselves creatively, and they wonder how to do it, and they don't know, they often cannot find the right word to express themselves and everything, and you are an established author, at that time you would, you know what you would do is you would share your experience of starting to paint something, and then you would say, I also cannot understand how to use the right colors and everything. This is like figuring something out requires us to go through that confusion. This is why I said that Two of Swords has a very, very different energy, and then you have Five of Swords. It's like people don't get to see the side of you where you are well aware of difficulties, well aware of confusion. People get to see a very sorted side of you, and yet when they speak to you, they understand that you are just like them, just like them. It's like somebody, like for somebody who's so well established in something, you don't go around giving people advices on how to excel in that thing. You talk like a normal person. And that's what I don't know why this is coming up. Maybe you would have a career where you are extremely respected, and that's why the emperor is coming up. It feels like you're extremely respected, and your future spouse is actually going around telling people that group one is very normal, you should come and talk to them once, and you would then understand that they don't give advices to anybody who's coming and everything. You can talk to them about, say you are a great painter, okay, you you're good at your job, man, and so people come and tell you that they're learning to paint, and so you would tell them that, yeah, I'm also learning to say learning to do some knitting, or some other, like I'm also learning pottery. And I understand that it can be difficult, confusing to, because you don't have things in your control, your hands do not know how to work around these things. You're learning a new skill, so you can understand and appreciate the level of difficulty somebody is experiencing at the level 1 of doing something where you are already at level 20. So you are sitting at level 20, and they're coming and telling you that they are starting at level 1 and it's very difficult, and so you would tell them about you also handling level 1 of something, or remembering what level handling level 1 of something feels like, instead of telling them, oh, it's very difficult, it's very easy, this is how you should do it, and this and that. So they, like, your future spouse is saying that, I understand that group one can be extremely intimidating, and people can think that group one is this, that. Guys, you should just come and talk to group one, and then you'll see what group one is like, because your future spouse has a very solid idea. See, there's king of wands and then there's emperor, but they are both depicted as feminines here. There is usually a masculine version as well, but the masculine version has not come up for you. So they're saying that you are well in touch with your feminine energy, whether you are masculine or not. So you understand people's emotions, and you understand how to handle people with care, because feminine energy has that nurturing element to it, where like it's the energy of the divine mother. So even in roles which are typically enjoyed by masculines in this world, because there's a distortion, the energy, like the in the collective, the power is actually unfairly tilted towards masculine a little bit more. But even in roles where masculines are depicted as the normal or the more conventional The norm is that masculines usually go on to take up certain roles of, say, like politicians and other roles, because feminines are like females are often missing from a lot of professions. But it seems like whatever you are doing, you have that feminine, you bring that feminine energy into it, where you just understand like how to approach something with sensitivity. Even though people might mistake you to have more masculine quality, you actually have a lot of feminine quality as well, where you know how to handle people with care. So your future spouse is basically saying a lot of good things about you to their friends. I hope you found it interesting, group one, and it was an interesting read for me as well. If you want personal reading from me, then you can contact me on WhatsApp, or you can get in touch with me on Instagram or Gmail. I also have a channel where I do, like, I have two channels where I do tarot readings in Hindi and Bengali. So if you're interested in in subscribing to those channels, if you understand those languages, then you can find the details of those channels in the description box. Um, Otherwise, I'll see you in another reading sometime very very soon. Till then, take care. Hello, group 2. If you had selected this card, Monkey, then welcome to your reading. Group 1's reading went on to last a little longer than I expected. Now, let's see for how long your reading lasts. Group 2. So, the card says, Inner child, don't take life too seriously. Okay. And the second card that you received says, What is ready to go so I can grow, burn, wildfire. I hope you can see the card. Okay, I'm getting a tingling sensation in the middle of my left hand, left palm. The third card says, card number 8, follow the signs, look around you for clues. The answer to your question is right in front of you. Okay. And then the last and final card, card number 38, comes down to 11, balancing act. You may be putting all of your time and energy into one area and neglecting other areas that need your immediate attention. Right. Although the energy of your balancing act, this card, balancing act card, is a little different than what I was picking up. I picked up on a very particular energy, and that energy is of Scarlett O'Hara. I think that's the name. Scarlett. Scarlett, I'm sure about, not sure about the surname. It could be O'Hara. In Gone with the Wind, where I'm not saying that you are as mean as Scarlett, or Scarlett, it's a character which I am not going to say that she's only mean and nothing else, because she also went on to help her family, not only her family, but a lot of other people, not her family, but more like her friends later in the film. If you have seen Gone with the Wind, then it will then you can understand what I'm saying. If not, then Scarlett had this quality where um, she would only focus on what she sets her mind to, and kind of chase that with blinders on. And she needed what she wanted. She had a little bit of a spoiled brat sort of energy, where she was like, she was a little not little, but very spoiled, where she didn't care about other people's feelings. She only cared about her feelings. And she had a crush on a person, and somebody else was in love with her. um, if you have heard about this quote, frankly my dear, I don't give a damn, then that is where it, Red Butler said that, and that is where it comes from. That's the movie. So this reading has a little bit of Scarlett O'Hara energy, where I'm not going to describe the movie now. It simply feels that you can concentrate very well at the task, on the task at hand, and you don't let other things bother you. But in doing so, you might, one thing that I'm understanding is that you are a very fun person. A lot of people want your attention. Wherever you go, people want you to stay back, people want you to stay longer, because you have this energy where you bring a lot of fun to any place that you're visiting. And it seems like you have this attitude, and all these people that the images of whom are coming to my mind have a Scarlett O'Hara sort of energy to them. Although I'm not sure about the surname, but I'm still saying Scarlett O'Hara. Sorry, so sorry. I could not stop myself from doing that. So if you're listening on headphones, my apologies. So exactly, not exactly Scarlet, but then there are certain characteristics which are very Scarlet like, where you are fun to be around, you are extremely interesting to talk to, you don't give anybody more importance than they deserve, but it feels like whenever you're meeting somebody, you have this friendly energy to them. Where, why did I say that you don't give people more attention than they deserve? You know why? Because you have a way of having fun or being associating with people in a very fun way, but not letting them get to you. Like, you are one of those people who can go to a party, have a lot of fun, and where people can get really interested in you, and they are like, oh, when are you coming next? We are having we are having a party next day at this person's place, will you come? And then you're like, I don't know if I'll be able to come. I'm not sure. Actually, I might have other things to do. So it feels like people get attached to you, but you don't get attached to people so easily. And this is the case with your future not the case with your future spouse's friends. Your future spouse is basically saying that you're very fun to be with, and wherever you go, people actually want you to stay back, but you don't get as affected as some of the people in your life who are who fall in love with you immediately. It's like everybody is in love with you, but it's very hard to say who you are in love with, or who has captured your heart, because you are like this with everybody. So say you have a great time with somebody, and that person thinks that, oh, they had a great time with me, so they might want to meet me again and everything. But you have this energy where you are this fun person with everybody. So it's not like you're having a great time with that person alone. No matter who that person would be, you would have a great time anyway, because having great time is your thing. Wherever you go, you have fun. So there's a lot of inner child energy. Don't take life too seriously, because you don't take life too seriously, you don't take things so seriously. That's why I said that there is this Scarlett O'Hara. And now I understand why the balancing act card is here, because there's this energy where people might get attached to you, but you don't. So you can end up hurting people, not understanding that you're hurting them, which was something the Scarlet used to do. Like, you don't understand that you're hurting people, because you never really intended for them to get so attached with you in the first place. In fact, you tell people that you have a very detached, I actually have a friend like that. You tell people very like openly that I am somebody who likes to stay wild and stay free. And wildfire, oh my god, I was just gonna say wildfire. I was gonna say that you have a wildfire energy to yourself. Right. So you have a wildfire energy to you. That is exactly what I was gonna say. And then I just look at the card, because usually when I'm doing a reading, I usually like don't look so much into the card, but not so much at the cards, but I keep looking above when I'm channeling. Just keep looking up. So the thing is, you have this energy where it's very hard to control you. You're free, you're wild, and it's hard to say what you're gonna do next, what you are gonna say next. It's hard to say if you're having fun with a person, whether you're attached to the person. So your future spouse is saying, I might take them to my house to meet my parents, and it can look like they're having a great time with my parents. But when I check with group 2, when I ask them that, do you want to return to my parents, like, do you want to go meet my parents? Because obviously my parents say are now attached to group 2, and my parents are like, so when is she, or when is he coming next? And then you might be like, why do we have to go again? And then your future spouse may be like, but I thought you were having fun. and you're like, yeah, I had fun, but that was for that moment. Do we have to do that again? It's like, it's hard to say where you're actually having fun. So if your future spouse checks with you and actually asks you that, look, it looks like you're having fun, but your response later on when I ask you, it seems like you don't want to go to these places where you're seemingly having fun. So are you having, like, are you pretending, or are you for real? Like, it's, what should I think? Do you even like these people that you're having fun with? And so you might be like, I don't know, I'm just, have fun everywhere. So if you want me to go visit your parents, I will. And if you and I'm pretty sure that if we go the next time, we'll have fun again. But does that mean that we need to go? And so your future spouse is like very confused, like, what do you mean? Do you like these people or not? And that's what they're telling their friends, that they don't take life so seriously. There's a monkey energy to them, where I sometimes, your future spouse is saying that I sometimes don't know if they like me, because it's so difficult to understand. I try to follow the signs, I try to look around for clues. The answer to your question is right in front of you. It feels like I have the answer, but it feels like I don't. It's like, I feel like, oh, if I can bring, your future spouse is saying something like this to their friends, so I can bring her or him to meet you guys, and it can feel like they're having, like, he or she's having a lot of fun. But when I check with her later on, she might say, yeah, it was fine, it was okay. But it can look like she's having a lot of fun. So the places where she wants to go, or where you want to go, or where, like, the places where group 2 wants to go, or what group 2 actually wants to do, is a mystery. Like, there's so many colors, the patches of so many colors. It's a mystery, they don't know. And they sometimes think that one day you will come around to tell them that you have never been in love with them as well. So it's a very confusing energy what they're confiding. That's why I'm saying that, when we look at what people talk about with their friends, some very interesting things come up which you might not have an idea about. So it feels like there's an energy to you where your future spouse is constantly trying to suppress a feeling of insecurity, where they are not sure about their position in your life. And so now they're saying, let's look at the card balancing act. You may be putting all of your time and energy into one area and neglecting other areas that need your immediate attention. It feels like you are so involved in having fun and everything. It feels like you're so engrossed in living life your way, you sometimes don't take into account the fact that you may be leaving people hurt, or you may be leaving people feeling insecure or not so stable in relationship. Or people, if they find out how you actually feel about them, which you are also not sure about, that's what it feels like you are also not sure. If somebody asks you, how do you want to, like, what do you feel about this situation, you would yourself be like, I don't know. Really, do I have to answer that? I don't know, like that. So it, like, the balance that you need to strike, it feels like it's not there. So your future spouse is actually telling their friends that they need to be able to balance it, where maybe they don't go on to show people that they're having a great time, and not engage with them personally at all, not engage with them at a heart level or at a soul level at all. Maybe they can be more authentic. So your future spouse is actually sharing with their friends how scared, like, certain things that scare them about this relationship. How is, okay, 7 of Wands, right? What is group two's future spouse sharing with their friends about group two? The World. Okay. Knight of Pentacles, right? Anything else? 10 of Cups, right? The High Priestess, and we have 8 of Swords as the back of the deck energy. I'll just show you the 8 of Swords. So we have been able to unpack the mystery a little bit, where it feels like your future spouse is really not sure about some of your deeper, like, more deeply held feelings, where they don't know how you perceive them, or you like them, or if you like them at all. Seven of Wands, it feels like sometimes your future spouse literally has to fight off the desire to tell you something that you might not like, it might not be so welcoming. So your future spouse wants to tell you something very specific, which they are sharing with their friends but not with you, where they are saying that I wish group 2 is a little more authentic and a little less um, fake, or like wears a little less of a mask with people, where they have to be so happy and fun and loving with everybody, but it feels like they are being themselves with nobody. And your future spouse is also saying that they have a great time with you. It feels like they would not be, they'd rather, like, they'd rather not be with anybody else than you, where they really want to do everything that comes to their mind. Oh, they're saying that everything that they want to do in life, they want to do with you, but they don't know if everything that you want to do in life includes them or not, because there are certain cases where I think you have told them, oh, I want to do this thing, but I want to do it alone. I don't want I don't even want you to go with me. I just want to do it alone. And sometimes your future spouse, that has hurt your future spouse, because your future spouse thinks, one, it makes them feel that they are more dependent on you, and maybe they are not allowing you to be independent. They want you to be independent, they want you to have their own life, but it feels like they don't know whether they are welcome in some of the situations in your life where you have included them. Your future spouse is saying something very funny. They're saying that I wonder if um, group 2 needed me at their wedding to have fun. Like, I think group 2 would have had fun at their wedding anyway, whether or not whether or not I was there. So, or whether or not I would be there. It's like they think that they are unnecessary, or they don't know their place in your life. It's like you're not expressing yourself enough. They're saying that the emotions are not there so much, and yet this 10 of cups, I'll tell you what, like, let us proceed. So Knight of Pentacles, yep. So your future spouse is very clear in the world card that everything that you can, that they can think of, they want to experience that with you, but they don't know if they have the same assurance from you, because there are certain things where you've said that you'd rather do them alone. Knight of Pentacles, it feels like okay, it feels like um the journey to be, I don't know at what point they are sharing this with their friend, but what they're saying is that the journey to becoming that person in your life who is irreplaceable, who has a solid space in your life that nobody would be able to take, and you, becoming that constant in your life is going to be a long journey. Your future spouse is saying to their friends that they don't think that they are there yet. I don't think you've been able to make your future spouse feel secure, or make them feel, I think you, even if you've said that you love them, even if you've said that you want them, you want to spend your life with them or whatever, your future spouse, because you are so difficult to understand, difficult to read, they find it very difficult to understand the more logical conclusions that they draw about you, because they're not certain about the conclusions they draw about you. And that's what they're saying, that the lifetime of happiness that they want with you, although they have very tender, like they have many tender moments with you, but becoming that solid thing in your life that you want to always, oh god, I just heard becoming your red butler, like you're becoming Scarlett's Red Butler, and Scarlett realizing the worth of Red Butler will take time. Oh god, this Gone with the Wind reference in your reading is wild. Group 2, if you have not watched that movie, maybe this is your sign to go watch it. And if you have Scarlett's energy, come comment on this reading and then say that whether or not this has happened for you, where people have not been able to understand whether you like them or not, or if you like them, how much you like them, or how much you value them. So your future spouse is saying that it's going to take a long time before they are sure about how you perceive or becoming that one person for you. that you would be able to kind of remember and like depend on, and always kind of go back to. Like they want to become that person for you that you never want to exclude from anything, like whether it's a movie that you want to watch alone. You so the what your future spouse is actually feeling a little clingy and little dependent and a little overly romantic, and I don't know how they are expressing these feelings to their friends. I think they're being able to express these feelings to their friends so openly because they are not being able to express them to you, because these are usually feelings we express with our loved ones. And that's why I say that sometimes we can share things with our friends that we can never even think of sharing with our lovers. So that's why friendships are so underrated, I feel. So anyway, your future spouse is saying, and I don't know which friend that they're sharing this with. I feel that they are sharing this with somebody that they trust a lot implicitly, like they really really trust this person that they're sharing all this information with, because they are being very very vulnerable in talking about their feelings. And they're saying that they want to become this person for you, which like somebody whom you cannot exclude from anything. Say you have decided to watch a movie alone, so what happens is that even if they want to watch the movie alone and they don't want you to and you don't want them to be a part of this movie. Sorry, I hope I explained it right. Say you want to watch a movie, because we're talking about you and your future spouse, right? So you want to watch a movie alone, and you have told your future spouse that I want to watch this alone and I don't want you to be coming with me or around me or something like this. Your future spouse would say that I would at least want group 2 to tell me that even though I want to watch this movie alone, because it's a horror film, I enjoy it when I'm watching horror films alone or something, I still want you around, I still want you in the room. So maybe we can rent the movie or we can watch it at a time when you are working in the house or something, and I can just feel reassured that if I get too scared or something happens and it's a very scary movie, you are at least there to comfort me. It's a very Red Butler sort of energy. I'm telling you, watch that movie. There's a scene where Red Butler comforts Scarlett when she wakes up from a nightmare. It's a very that sort of, like, your future spouse totally wants to be the Red Butler of your life. And I hope it does not come to the point where your future spouse feels that you will only understand their worth or value when they have left you, because your future spouse is telling their friends that they don't feel appreciated. They feel like their love is not appreciated or not seen. They feel unseen, and they don't feel like you're understanding how much they love you. That's the energy that is coming through. And then the High Priestess. So your future spouse is saying that a lot of what they should do, or how they think you perceive them, is understood by connecting with their emotions. Like your future spouse is saying, I have to intuitively make a uh, assumption or make a deduction, or I have to intuitively deduce how you feel about certain things. Like how I have to intuitively deduce how group 2 feels about certain things, because I cannot understand how group 2 feels, because I might it might seem like she likes them. Like if I ask, so your future spouse is saying that, say I bring my group 2 to meet you guys. Your future spouse is saying this to his or her friends, that say I bring them over to meet you guys, and I ask him or her, how did you like my friends? And he or she might say that, oh, they're great. But when I ask him or her to visit you guys again, she might decline. So for me, there's no way to know if she's actually lying or she's telling the truth. The only thing I can do is depend on my intuition, and she does not understand that she needs to be more honest with me, or at least. And their friends are giving them a lot of advice, and I think that their friends are giving them very solid advice. They are good friends that your future spouse has gone to in order to speak about this issue, because it feels like their friends are saying that you want them, like you want your partner to be more expressive with you and honest with you. Maybe they themselves don't know how they feel about certain things, because certain people are just confused like that. Again, it's Scarlet O'Hara energy, Eight of Swords. It feels like your future spouse does not know why you chose them. I'm reminded of a video I saw on Instagram where the person was saying, the woman was asking her partners, "Why did you get married to me?" It was a funny, like video where she was saying, "I think you got married to me because I look like Kylie Jenner." So it was like a funny video. So your future spouse is saying, "I don't know why they got married to me. Did they get married to me because I bring stability into their life, because they felt that I was stable and I was not gonna cheat on them, and I'm I'm a boring, secure Capricornian sort of a person, or did they get married to me because I bring financial security?" They are exploring the security bit in every way. That is it because I got financial security, or I got emotional security that they marry me, or is it because they like the fact that I was like how I look, and like the fact that I was happy, independent sort of a person, and they got attracted to that single energy that I brought. But they, or did they get attracted to the sorry, did they feel attracted to the fact that I can take a lot of responsibility, that I'm a responsible person? Which one? And your friends are like, "Hey, there's sorry, your friends, no, their friends are like, "Hey, there's no way to answer these questions. Like, maybe your partner also does not know for sure." So that's the energy that I can pick up. Let me know if it resonates. Group 2, if you enjoy the reading, then let me know in the comments. I always like reading the comments that you guys leave, like leave down below. If you are interested in Bengali and Hindi tarot readings, if these are the languages that you understand, then you can also check out the other two channels that I have. The details of that would be in the description box. If you're interested in getting a personal reading from me about any situation that you might want guidance regarding, then you can contact me on WhatsApp, Gmail, or Instagram. Otherwise, I'll see you in another reading sometime very, very soon. Till then, take care. Yellow group 3. Welcome to reading. If you had selected this card, Giraffe. Sorry. Sorry. The card says the bigger picture. Take a step back and gather your thoughts and feelings. The second card that came out for you is... did I say group 3? I mean group 3, okay? Like, don't go by what I'm saying. Go by the feeling. I'm feeling group 3, so group 3 it is. The second card is Dive. No, I need to cough properly. Now I'm okay. So the second card is Dive. What is ready for action? Red-tailed hawk. And the third card also talks about action somehow. Card number 22, inspired action. Focus on inspiration, and the action steps will follow effortlessly. And the fourth and the last card, 65, comes down to 11. Okay, 11 and 22, master numbers. I can never say this word. Visualization. By practicing visualization daily, you are calling forward your desire, and it will soon be a tangible experience in your current reality. What do they appreciate about you? No, it's not about them talking about what they appreciate about you. It's about what they share with their friends. And what they share with their friends is that they appreciate something about you very deeply, and that is your ability to consistently put your effort into something that you believe in. It feels like just before I started the reading, I had no idea what message wants to come through. I just felt like the moment I start the reading, I'll just know, and that's what I'm working with. So the first card, Giraffe, the bigger picture. It feels like you always have an idea about what it is that you want. Even if other people can't see it for you, you can see it for yourself. And what your person finds inspirational about you, what they're sharing with their friends, is this something that they find very surprising. So your future spouse is telling their friends that, you know what, I often think I doubt group three, and I often think that group three is wrong in asking for something that they're asking for, or they have made a wrong assumption, or they're whatever they're doing in life, it won't bear any fruits, or it won't lead to any good. And I'm telling group three that don't do it, don't do it, and then group three can always prove me, or sometimes most of the times they just prove me wrong. It's like group three has an understanding about things that I can't even imagine. Sometimes I'm telling you guys should talk to my husband or my wife about this, where they have like a very clear vision about the future, where they okay, hawk, right. Okay, right. My God, I was reading the energy without looking at the cards or understanding the cards, because the energy started coming in and I started talking about it, but I didn't dwell upon the cards so much. You see the energy of the hawk, where the hawk can see things from very far when they're like they can usually fly at a very very like great height, and they can see things happening down below from a great distance. So, and the same with giraffe, the very same with giraffe, where they can take account of the bigger picture, looking from a greater height than the other animals, because they have such a tall neck and all. So it feels like you have a vision of things which other people sometimes don't have, and that's why what you do in life is often right, even though it might appear to be wrong at that time. Everybody, like you, if everybody is going south, you end up going west, and you have your own reason, and you tell people I'm going to go west, and that's what I believe in, and that's what I'm going to do. Visualization, it's like you can visualize uh, like your life in a way, because that's the vision that you have, that's the what is it called, vantage point that you have, which is different from others, where you can take um, like a hill's view of something, where it's like you are seeing things from standing on top of a hill where people are still at the ground. So you can understand what is going to happen regarding a situation, even though others don't have the ability to perceive such a thing. I'd be surprised um, if more intuitive cards do not come out for you, like the high priestess or something, or the moon, because it feels like visualization is confirming the fact that you can envision something. Can you even see this thing? Let me just try to focus it. Can you see this spot here, this spot at the distance? It's like you can see that far, even though others might only be able to concentrate on these color patches and everything. You can see the light sparkling at a distance, and you know that this is where you're headed and this is where your answer lies. So that's sort of a vision you have, where you probably get visions of things, and you either get vision from the universe, or you are able to okay, I mean this, okay, you either get visions or you can envision. Like, for example, what do I mean? Sometimes you will get visions without understanding why you are getting them. You will just get visions of you standing next to a bus, and then seeing a seeing an accident happen, and then you would not understand why am I standing next to this bus, why is this vision of accident happening in front of me. And then someday you would find yourself standing in a similar position. Maybe it's not the same bus, but you would be standing next to a truck or something, and you might see an accident happen, or you might see an accident which is about to happen. And then somehow you would scream, leave, move, 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 because you would remember from your vision that you have seen something like this. And then you can, from with your interference, you can stop an accident from happening, and then you understand, oh, this is why I got the vision. And something like either that, or you can see, or you can hear about an accident that somebody has witnessed from a place where they were standing beside a bus or a truck, and they explain the vision that you had seen, where you are able to foresee the future without sometimes understanding what is the relevance or why you are seeing something like this. And having this ability, by the way, is not like a joyride, because being able to predict the future, sometimes when you are able to predict some more difficult situations in your life or in anybody else's life, that information is very difficult to process. Like, you don't know what to do with that information if you get very specific information. So that can happen. Or what can happen is, um, you might be asked about a situation. Say uh, somebody comes to you, your future spouse comes to you and asks you that I want to invest in a business with this friend of mine. Wait a second. Yeah, so the second situation that we were explaining is that your future spouse might come to you and say that I'm thinking of doing this business with my friend. How do you think it will like turn out? Do you think it is a good idea? You might at will start imagining a scenario, and then you just pick up on the fact that it's not a good idea and you just share with them. Although both the things that both the examples are negative, positive things can also happen. Like, you can also just envision a very positive outcome, where you just see that, the outcome of doing business with this friend would be very positive, and you're like, yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead. So, and your future spouse goes ahead to do the business, and they encounter whatever that you said they will. So it can be visions that you get at will. It can sometimes be visions that you don't understand, or you're not getting them because you want to. You're just being given those visions from the universe. Or it can be both. In your case, there is some vision that is happening, something that you're feeling intuitively, and based on that you take action, and it's almost always right. Your future spouse is going to their friends and saying, obviously, if you're coming to tarot readings, you'll have psychic abilities, you'll all, like, you guys will be interested in spiritual concepts, and spirituality will be something that is like something that you go on to practice, whether as like whether it's the primary thing in your life or a secondary thing in your life. Spirituality is going to be a part of your life. But so I can understand, you guys are intuitive people, but your future spouse is like going to their friends and they're like, dude, you gotta see what my husband or wife is capable of, because it's crazy. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I tell them something and they give me this advice, and it's almost always right. It's like they know, it's like, where to dive, and the spot, and you just dive because you're so connected with God. Your future spouse is not that spiritual, what I'm understanding, because they can't formulate, they can't seem to come up with the right words to explain what they're feeling. And this is their energy. It is not my energy. I can explain things very well, but I understand that they are going through this, where they are like, I can't explain to you, man. I can't explain what they are capable of. You should be able to see, like, you should get to see this yourself. Sometimes if you need any advice, come to my person, like, just talk to her, because she can guide you. And like, you either do tarot or spirit, you can work with crystals, or you can have very great intuitive powers, or you may be very connected with your divine feminine like side, or you may be connected with a deity, where you get guidance from deity or higher beings, and your future spouse is in awe of that. And your future spouse is saying that your understanding of things is very unconventional, your understanding of life is very unconventional, but the picture that you get of life, and the picture that you get of things being a certain way, which may not agree with people's version of things, or people's definition of reality. Your definition of reality is something that most people cannot grasp, or most people don't live by. But dude, is it like, have you heard about this series Dark on Netflix, where a lot of people, when they try to grasp this concept of multiverse or traveling in time and everything, they can't seem to make head and tail of what is happening. But it seems like these things come very easily to you, but not so much to your future spouse, where your future spouse is saying that they am I shuffling it properly? Your future spouse is saying that they were not aware of a lot of concepts before meeting you, and you have blown their mind. They're basically telling their friends how impressed they are and how you woke them up to a different side of life. So what is group three's future spouse telling their friends about group three, the lovers, right? Cool. So I'm hearing this thing, good things only. I'm saying good things only, right? King of Wands, Eight of Swords. I had seen this card earlier as well, and I feel like they are supposed to come together. Right? Although they didn't come together, but I feel like they want to come together. Two of Wands, and then anything else? I feel like we'll need, okay, Three of Swords, and I think there's another card that wants to come with it. The Star. Come on. Yes. So these are the cards for what they are telling their friends about you, or how they are describing you to their friends. They're saying that you you are more in control of these abilities, and you are more in control of your life than they are. Like you are this person who just knows why they are doing what and where they're headed, and you are not confused at all. Like if you were asked to explain anything that you are doing, you would have like a perfectly logical, rational explanation of why you did something. Although a lot of people who operate like you don't seem as logical when they are asked about their views on a different thing, on a lot of things, on different things, but it feels like you have a very like logical way of explaining. Logical is not always rational, so you seem to follow a logic which might not feel rational to a lot of people, yet they cannot logically disagree with you, because you know things and you can back your opinion up with a lot of solid spiritual references, which obviously might not have scientific proofs, but you know your thing. Okay, so I feel like first they are going to say that they are paired with a very unconventional sort of a person whom the society would not understand. In fact, if the society knew your true nature, the society might think that you are not human, you're something else, because you have great abilities. Can you see? Usually, when I see birds, I think of them as a sign of the presence of spirit guides. Like I see them as spirit guides. I see birds as spirit guides, and here you're literally paired with a bird, so it feels like you are from another world, or you are an old soul, or you're from another dimension. Your future spouse is actually telling their friends that they feel like you are not from here, you're not from around this place. Like sometimes it feels like they are in relationship with like a different entity who's maybe a human being, but something else in a human being's body. Like you belong to another planet or dimension. That is what they're saying, and they don't know exactly how to describe you, because they are not coming up with proper specific terms. They are not saying that they have like a fifth dimensional or sixth dimensional energy to them. That there are some material, there's some material on how Ra, like Ra of law of one. If you go on to research L by L research, then you would probably be able to understand what I'm talking about. Ra, so Ra was talking about, so there's a lot of material on simply channelings by Ra Co, and then Ra material. If you Google, then you will be able to like you will see what I'm talking about. So there's enough material on how Ra explains that sometimes the entities that came here to guide us are like our entities who belong to higher dimensions. So Ra talks about different guides, and different guides that we received in human forms belonging to different dimensions. So there is proper material on that, but your person does not know any of it. Your person is explaining how they perceive you in a very juvenile sort of a way, where they don't know the exact words and how something is explained in the spiritual community. They are just in awe of your abilities, and they are telling their friends that that they believe in anything that you say or anything that you do, because you have proven to them time and again that you're capable, that you have access to a reality, or you have access to some kind of truth that they are not able to see, or you have access to some information that they're unable to get. Okay. That's why it's like you have this quality, this attractiveness about you, where it's intimidating, yes, but it's also like it's very attractive. Like you're a force of nature. Like there's a magnetic quality that you bring because of these things, where a lot of things that you do might not, it's like a little bit of Sherlock Holmes sort of energy. A lot of what Sherlock Holmes did not make sense to a lot of people, but there was like it was perfectly like it makes perfect sense to, again, if you just think about it, like Sherlock Holmes would not eat before he has solved a case, or when he's thinking like to um, avoid food, because food actually, when you eat food and then the process of digestion, like digestion starts, the system slows down. You can only like you can the brain function can be at its peak when you have an empty stomach, you know, something like that. So again, Sherlock Holmes did not know a lot of things about, say, the solar system or planets and everything, because he felt that those information, like, or those kind of things are not going to benefit him in his professional life, or he used to consider himself like committed to his work. So it was more like he only cared about the information that would help him grow as a detective, and not about things that can be googled or that can be accessed from any book. He cared about what cannot be accessed or what cannot be known from a book. And he used to say that, and when people used to ask why it is like that, so it might feel odd, like most people would be like, so you know nothing about the solar system, because solar system is our basics, right? But Sherlock Holmes didn't care about a lot of information about like that. Why? Because he used to say that human mind is capable of only a certain amount of storing a certain amount of information, and I don't want to like use up that space storing information that is irrelevant or unimportant, unnecessary, right? So things like that, you have quirks about you which don't make sense to a lot of people, and it might make a lot of people feel that you are scared, or like sorry, that you're weird, and they'd be scared of you. Your person, however, is saying that they have learned to live with it. They have learned to accept the fact that intelligent people, or people who are highly functional in some way, where their brain functions at a very high capacity in some area, are a little different or have certain quirks about themselves. And that is what they're saying that you have, and that's why you have certain like Sherlock Holmes, like I said, didn't know about the solar system. So if people were to laugh at him saying that, you don't know about the solar system, you don't know about the space, they can mock him. Obviously there will be people like that, and so it's up to them if they think that that's something that is like um worthy of being mocked or something. That nothing is, but there can be people, the people have that sort of tendencies. But your person is saying that there's a good chance that people will pick up on your vulnerabilities, because there are some, you are not very rational, and you don't buy a lot of rational explanations of things. Like people can try to sell Tetra Pak milk to you, and you might, and every research, everything can say that it's the best thing, best way to store your milk and everything. You would somehow, and companies will also charge you extra for that kind of packaging, and yet you may be a person who's saying that, sorry, it's not my thing, I am not gonna do it. So it feels like there can be certain things about you which might, there's a word that I'm looking for, which might leave you in need of assistance, where you need to be rescued sometimes. But your future spouse is also saying that I felt that about group 2. I felt that he or she is a little different, and I would have to support them, but oh my god, they are fully capable of defending themselves, they are fully capable of standing up for themselves, they have a sass to them. So it's not just because they are a little, their opinion is a little different from people doesn't mean that they are weak in any way. So they can be spiritual, but you have to understand that they're very very strong. And also in certain areas where most people show a very like a very conditioned strength, they are very very weak. For example, um, if you hear about if you see an accident happen on the road, a lot of people are now conditioned to ignore something like that because they don't want to get involved, and people can just walk past something like this. But you are somebody who is not conditioned to ignore such a thing. You might just break down, or you might just be the one to call the authorities, or take out your time to actually stand and see that that person who, like, who is suffering or something gets there, like is taken care of. So a lot of things that people are conditioned to ignore, you are not conditioned to respond the same way. And it feels like Two of Wands, your future spouse is also saying that you are extremely talented, but it's like what you want to do with your talent is something that you discuss with God. Like it's like, if, say you are extremely, you're a good writer, but what you want to write about, what you have to write about, is not something that you will ask around. um is not something that you are going to go to people to find out. That you're not going to ask, uh, what do you think I should write on, or what kind of books do you think will work. You are not going to ask those questions. You're actually going to go within, you're going to meditate and find out what wants to be birthed through you, or what kind of information wants to come out in the world through you, and only that you're going to work on. So you're not going to exploit some talent or quality that you have only because if you use it in a specific way, it can make you very rich in the world. No, no, no. What you have to do in the world um, is not guided by the consequence of your actions, but it is guided by a higher power. What that higher power wants you to do, and you surrender the consequence to God. You're like, I don't know how my book will perform. God will take care of it. I am only here to, like, write the book. This is your attitude towards life. This is your attitude towards your purpose in the world, where you care very little about how the world is perceiving you, but you're very in tune with your purpose of being here on this planet. And even if people think that it's what you're doing is unimportant, unnecessary, or will not earn you the money, fame, or recognition, you follow like the beat of your own drum. Okay. Then Three of Swords and the Star. It feels like your future spouse is saying that even when things hurt you, even if they hurt you, your future spouse hurts you, it's like you use that information to heal different aspects of you. Like you use that information for something to upgrade yourself spiritually. I don't think the alignment was properly done. It's like, say your future spouse's family is being mean to you. Instead of instead of saying that how can your family be so mean and everything and this and that, you use that information to correct something within you that may be misaligned, because of which this kind of conflicts are appearing in your reality. So you always tend to go within. So some, you might have a very different way of approaching things, where people are usually concerned with how can you do this to me. You would go within and ask, why is the universe bringing this reality up for me to consider? Like, what is it happening inside which is making this kind of reality manifest for me? So a conflict is never met with a conflict is never seen as a conflict. A disease is never seen as a disease. In your case, it is seen as a misalignment of your mind, body, and soul, which you correct at that level. You can go at the level of soul and then correct it. And then you're saying that anything that hurts you, anything that tries to disfigure you. Wait. Yeah, so as we were saying, you might hear some background noises, okay? Certain things that might hurt you are not seen as things which are meant to destroy you, because you believe that everything is happening for a reason, okay? And everything is working in perfect harmony with each other. So if something is coming out, something is there to has come to come get you, it has also come with a sort of information that you need to process at a soul level, okay? And so anything that hurts you will then be viewed at the level of soul, and then you will instruct your mind to take over and handle that thing. Wait. Right. So I don't remember where I paused, but I remember that we were talking about this, where this person, like your future spouse, is saying that anything that hurts you is then interpreted to mean something extremely spiritual, where the relation is drawn directly at the level of soul, like how spirit wants to communicate something to you because of which this thing has happened, and then you deal with it spiritually. There's a um there's a bigger solution to even the smallest problems appearing in your reality, and things that will break other people as life coming coming to get you. Okay, so the thing that is coming to my mind, if you've heard about this movie, this, I think this is a Netflix series called Man versus Bee. If you watch it, you would see how how a bee goes on to disturb Mr. Bean, and then he burns the house down in order to get rid of the bee because he's troubled by the bee. What is happening in your case is that you always take something, so that is the extremity, right? The extreme um, way in which you can get disturbed by an animal. For you, the extreme is at a different polarity, where you take every animal to mean that something is being communicated to you from the higher realms. So if a bee comes to you, you'd be like, oh, the bee has come to me with a message. And if the bee stings, then you're going to be like, oh, the bee said to me that, that there's a way in which they wish that humans would not interfere, or um, not cause so much harm to their habitat, and they wish to exist along with humans. And the fact that humans are causing so much harm to their environment is something that they wish humans to understand. And like stinging humans is their way of communicating, back off. It's not something, it's their nature, they can't control it. But if they could speak to humans, they would speak to humans by stinging them, because they are that angry. So your explanation, or your way of understanding life, nature, even pain, is beautiful. Your future spouse is saying there are a lot of things that you have made them see differently because of your perception of reality, and you're totally in control of this perception. You are in no way a damsel in distress who needs to be saved. Two of Swords has made us like a celebrity appearance in many readings as either one of the main energies or back of the deck energies. So give it up for Two of Swords in this reading. So I will end your reading here, group 3. Let me know how it resonate, or if it resonated with you, or you might not know your future spouse. So let me know then if you liked the reading or not, or if that this is your energy indeed. So that's it. If you want to get a personal reading from me, then you can contact me on WhatsApp, or you can contact me on Instagram or Gmail. If you're interested in listening to tarot readings in Bengali and Hindi, these are the two languages that you understand, then you can find out details of my other two YouTube channels from the description box and subscribe to those as well. Otherwise you can, otherwise we'll meet at another reading sometime very very soon. uh, and yes, take care. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.